Tairat Tmimin, Talmidim, Chassidim, and with their families. We find ourselves in the week of Gimmel Tammuz, and it falls out usually at Parshas Chukas, as it's brought down in the Shalah Kodesh in the beginning of Parshas Vayeshev, that all the Yom Tovim of the year, whether it's Midaraisa or it's Midarabanan, you can find hinted in the Parsha. The Alter Rebbe in Parshas Chukas explains in the beginning concerning the word Chukas, that it comes from the Lashon Hakika, engraved. We find when it comes to writing letters, you can write letters on a parchment or you can write letters on a rock, engrave it into a rock. The difference is when you write letters on a parchment, though they're connected to each other, nonetheless they can be separated and each one and the parchment remains complete. On the other hand, when you would engrave letters into a rock, when you try to remove the letters, you would have to scrape the rock itself. It's one entity together, Mineu Bey. So the Alter Rebbe explained that the idea of Chakika has to do with Avodas Hashem. Likewise, when it comes to Avodas Hashem, we can find two ways of serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu. One way is the way the YOECs are written on a parchment. That is, Avodas Hashem is another entity to the person, even though it's attached to the person and he lives a life like a Frumayid, like a Chosid, but nonetheless, there could be shinuyim, there could be changes. And as a result of that, he can remain himself, though the Avodas Hashem is lacking. On the other hand, when the Avodas Hashem is like Osiyas HaChakika, that it becomes engraved into the person, part of him, it is impossible to remove any part of Avodas Hashem from the person. It affects the person himself. And this idea of Chakika brings about the inyan of Mesiras Nefesh. And this is what we find concerning the Frierdiker Rebbe, that his approach when it came to the arrest was that not when it came to Avodas Hashem, he'll fight on Mesiras Nefesh, but to begin with, his whole approach and attitude was they don't exist. To begin with, he put himself in a situation that he stands above them completely. And this is the lesson that we take when it comes to Gimmel Tammuz, and it's related to the inyan of Chakika, that when it comes to Avodas Hashem, we have to be doing it in Aveda of Mesiras Nefesh. And the Aveda of Mesiras Nefesh has to be in a way that is an Osiyas Chakika, that the whole, not just Yiddishkeit, Minhagim and Chumras and anything that's related, a minute iota of matters of Judaism, any Hanocha or so forth, has to be with Mesiras Nefesh. And this is what we find in the Maimer of the Rebbe in Va'ata Tetzaveh, and it brings out that the Moshe Rabbeinu of every generation, our Rebbe, accomplished in us the idea that it's Raya Mehemna, infused in us this emunah that reveals the Sheresh HaNeshama into Keiches Geluyim, that we live a life of a chassid naturally, and it's in a way of Mesiras Nefesh that permeates even when we have everything begashmias. And this idea of Mesiras Nefesh, actually, in return, it's brought down in the Maimer, V'yikcho Eilecha, Shemen Zayizach, that we give to the Nasi Adar through our Aved and dedication. As Chassidim, we increase and add in the neshama of the Nasi Hadar, like it says, Sheish Elev Raglei Ha'am Asher Anochi B'kirbei. So the Aveda that we have to take as we're holding the last moments of Golus, it is that we got to go with Mesiras Nefesh without calculations and follow the guidance of the Rebbe, as we see very clearly now that we're Shleishim Shana. We don't ask what are we able to do. The Rebbe showed us very clearly that he's with us, but we shouldn't make any more calculations when and how, but rather do the Aveda of the Rebbe, and with that we will be zeicha to the Geula Shlema, and we will be able to bring the Gashmi Zika Shemen Zayizach to the Beis Hamikdash Hashlishi. Kol Tuv.